And now our continuing series on the greatest artists of all time. At number 19, The Velvet Underground. In 2004, in the Rolling Stone magazine, Julian Casablancas wrote, "When you listen to a classic rock station today, why don't they play The Velvet Underground? Why is it always Boston and Led Zeppelin? And why are the Rolling Stones so much more popular than the Velvets?" Okay, I understand why the Stones are more popular, but there's also a part of me that has always felt that it should have been the other way around. The Velvet Underground were way ahead of their time, and their music was weird. But it also made so much sense to me, I couldn't believe this wasn't the most popular music ever made. Listening to those 4 studio albums now is like reading a good book that takes place in a distant time. When I hear The Velvet Underground and Nico, or Loaded, I feel like I'm in Andy Warhol's factory in the 60s, or hanging out at Max's Kansas City. The way Lou Reed wrote and sang about drugs and sex, about the people around him, it was so matter of fact. I believed every word of Heroin. Reed could be romantic in a way that he portrayed these crazy situations, but he was also intensely real. It was poetry and journalism. A lot of people associate the Velvets with feedback and noise. White Light, White Heat is the kind of record that you have to be in the mood for. You have to be in a trashy bar and in a bad mood. But the Velvets created some very beautiful music as well. Sunday Morning, Candy Says, All Tomorrow's Parties. I can't imagine that song without Nico singing it. Although I thought Maureen Tucker had a cool voice, as well as being a really cool drummer, she had a femininity. I thought she sounded hotter than Nico. In the beginning, the Strokes definitely drew from the vibe of the Velvets. I listened to Loaded all the time when we started the band, while I was writing my first songs. For 4 solid months, it was just Loaded and this Beach Boys greatest hits record, made in the USA. A lot of our guitar tones are based on what Reed and Sterling Morrison did. I honestly wish we could have copied them more. We didn't come close enough, but that was cool because it came more of our own thing, which is something else I got from the Velvets. They taught me just to be myself. The Velvet Underground. The song is from their 4th studio album, Loaded, from 1970. It was the final album recorded that featured Lou Reed. He left the band shortly before its release. The cut, Sweet Jane. On the track, Lou Reed on vocals, lead guitar, and piano. Doug Yule on the bass and keys. Sterling Morrison on lead guitar and some backing vocals. Now, Maureen Tucker was the drummer of the Velvet Underground, but she doesn't appear on this album due to maternity leave. And it's Adrian Barber who plays the drums on this cut. It's our continuing series on the greatest artists of all time. And at number 19, The Velvet Underground.